Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So what I'm going to do today, I will show you how to test the stuff what I've built, right? And some tips how to improve the code because there are still issues with the code. I'll show you which can cause issues at the customer side if you're planning to build something similar. Okay, so the first thing first, what I'm going to do, I will go to my profile, account. Sometimes, people name it as a profile account, depending upon the industry you're working at. Um, so what I'll do, I will create a new account, and I will name, say, uh, on hold account, right? And remember the first thing I said when I started the series, anything to do with on hold should go to and create a new record in a new table, right? Account logger. So when I do save, okay, so that's great. Now let's see what happens to that account logger. All right, we got an entry here. So let's see here. Okay, so that's created. Fantastic, right? It looks very simple. Now think about a scenario, okay? Let me show you a scenario which can trigger an issue. Say I go back to my flow, okay? And I'll go to this update account logger flow. So what I'll do, I'll copy this, okay? And I'll go back here. And I'll go to this logger subscriber. And I'll go here. Let's say instead of API name, right? A developer, by mistake, he did something like this, right? I mean, it looks okay to a developer because it's a label name. For whatever reason, right? The mistake can happen. So the flow was built, something similar. Activate. Okay. All right. Now, what I'll do, I'll try to create a account again. So I'll go and delete these two. Okay. And I will look at the error log. Remember, I have error logger, right? So if there's an error, I clear it from there. Okay, we got none. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go and create an account. Let me delete this once. Okay. Okay, I'll create this again. I use the same on hold account, and I change it to on hold, right? Okay, account is created. So now you would assume, right, as a user, that there will be an information here in account logger. Now you think, what's going on? I got none. There's no information here. So it's obvious if you're a user, customer will say, okay, let me look at the error logger. There's nothing. Now you must be thinking, what's going on? Um, is the system is down, or is the flows are not working? So they call the help desk, or they might, contact the vendor who built the solution. They will say, hey, we're having this issue, not sure what's going on. And maybe that's just the first time, they went live, and for whatever reason, the things got messed up. Like I said, a developer uh, accidentally changed the name of instead of API to it, but the user don't know, right? And let's say that another developer who actually migrated the change is on a holiday. Now the person will, if you're another developer, you'll look at the code and say, okay, we got a platform event in place. So the first question is this code really triggering a platform event to begin with, right? Because if there is no platform event, um, then obviously the subscriber flow won't uh, be getting an information. So there are two ways you can handle it, right? Let me go to the first thing. You can add something here, like error logger here, which is a very yucky solution, because I prefer to keep a subscriber code separate and your publisher code separate. So subscribers should not be the place where you should be checking whether your publisher has emitted something, right? There should be something in place on the subscriber side. Okay, so now I'm not seeing any platform event getting generated, so that's where the area of opportunity comes to improve. Okay, so the first thing first. Okay, let's look at the error logger, the things which we can add and improve. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do error logger. Okay, oh sorry. Okay, so go here, and we got a field. Let's see what all fields we got. Okay, now obviously you have to understand one thing. Publishing, I need this error logger to be used for information as well as an error. But right now, I can't tell the difference, right? Everything goes into the error message. So what that means is that it could be an error or could be an info. So, and also the name is a bit strange. So what I'll do, I will go here, and obviously, since this API name is used elsewhere, so I won't be changing it. So I will say it as a display message, right? Which is fine, right? Obviously, I'm not going to changing the API name. You have to be very careful changing API name. It might use somewhere else, and you might break it. So I'm gonna, but at the same time, now I need a type, right? So what I'll do, I'll go and create excuse me, pick list next, right? So I can set type, right? I'll just say error and info. Yeah. Obviously, for error, you need an error, and okay, I need a value here. Use the first value as a default, right? Okay, so which is fine. If you don't define anything, it will go as an error. Okay, that's great. Now let's look at the platform event code. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll go here, developer console. Um, I don't really remember what's the name of the class. So what I'll do, I'll go to the Apex. Yeah. And I'll go to the Apex class, and I'll see. Okay, you know what? I don't need the class name here. So what I'll do, I'll go to the account object, and I'll go to the account, and I'll go to the trigger, and sorry, not this one. And I'll go to this after. Did I do after insert? Let's see. Yeah, after insert, right? Okay, so I got the class name here, right, which is great. So what I'll do, I will go here, the API. So I will go here. I mean, idly speaking, I often do this in a Visual Studio, but for the demo, you can use the dev console. But when we're gonna do a new series on LWC, you can't use developer console, right? I mean, I have to use the this guy, the Visual Studio. Okay, so now I looking at this code, right? We got an exception here. What if this code is breaking, right? Now I don't have anywhere is getting that code is getting written anywhere, right? So what I'll do, I will go here, go to Apex class, just say logger, okay, class, nah, okay, event, let's say event logger, right? All right, event logger. So what I'll do public static void log error. So, okay, logger. Okay, so we'll go here, and then what is a message? String message. Yeah, and I will say, this is the what's the name of the class? Let's go here. Where is it? Okay, go to the setup, and okay, go here. Um, logger er equals to new logger. Okay, try catch. Just leave it for now. I don't want it to add here, and dot error message equals to this. Okay, dot what's that called? Type equals to error. Is that a type here, or let's see what's the exact name? Okay. Type. All right. Okay, that's great. So what we do? Okay, now insert. Yeah. Hopefully that should work. Okay, that's great. Now what I need a place to log info. Okay, so I'll do string message. Okay, now I need a list of. Oh, come on, did I do insert key by mistake? List of string. Yeah, and oh, come on. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy this over here, and I'll do this here, the list of it. Okay. Okay, list. All right, so what I'll do for, oh, come on, for string s message. Yeah, and wait a second. Now I know you must be thinking, oh, how come this guy is doing an insert in the folder? I'm not gonna do that. Don't worry. Just give me a second. S info. Okay, database.insert. Yeah, and just pass this boy. Okay, that's great. Okay, so that's done. Now what I'll do, I'll go here, the log error. Event logger, platform end. No, I don't need this one. Dot log. Come on. Log error. Yeah. Ex dot get message, right? And here, what I'll do, let me create a. Let's see. Let me save first. If it saves, then at least that part is done. Okay, so that's done. Now what I need a separate class here that's called private um, log, sorry, private void log, not love, platform event. So what I need here, um, okay, I'll just say, not this one, sorry. This is what I need. Oh no, I don't even need this one anymore because this is a global variable. So I can, for, I can say, um, okay, I'll just say list of string info list equals a new list of string. Okay, so what I'm doing here, right? I'm just wanted to log platform event. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. In here, as you know, right, I created a two class. One logs the error, one logs the information. So obviously here I'm logging a single error. Here I'm logging a multiple information because you might get 50 platform message at a time, right? So I need to log all of it using, and I can't do individual. Then it causes a so-called limit issue. So I just putting everything in a collection and just doing a single insert, right? Okay. So I want to make use of the same error class here. So what I'll do, so, no, 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 no. Da, 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 e, oh, come on. It's not really fun to write code in a developer console. I don't like it, but it's okay. It's good for a demo or a quick dirty work, right? Okay, JSON dot, okay, dot serialize. All right, so what I'm after, JSON dot serialize. So this will give me a platform event in a form of a, um, a string, right? So, and then what I'll do here at the end, event logger. Okay, event log file, not that. Info message. Just do an info list. Yeah. Okay, and just here. All right. Simple. That's all you have to do. Okay, we got an exception, which is fantastic. All right, static void. So status class. All right, so that's the code. Now let's tidy this code up a bit. Tab. Okay. All right. So you can put the comment section here. I mean, whatever you wanted to do. It's always a good idea. This will log platform event. Right. Okay. Now let's try to create a account info again, and let's see what happens, right? So what I'll do, I'll go here and I'll delete this again. And what I'll do new account one. Okay, whatever that's right. I don't care at this stage. I just wanted to see what's going on. So, okay, so let's look at the error logger. Nothing there. I think it's not recording. Okay, we got information here. Okay, now let's see what's happened. So it is an info. So we are actually getting a platform event. So that means the platform event is getting generated. So what that means is that our publisher code is working fine. So that is a one way you can, when your customer looks at it, they say, okay, I don't think so anything to do with the platform event. It publishing fine, because if there is an issue, right, in the code, it will obviously would have failed and caught here, right? So so nothing happened on that perspective. So obviously there will be an issue with the flow. So it will make your job troubleshooting easier. Now you can see, okay, let's look go to the flow, and you obviously you can eyeball the flow and look at it. Okay, what's going on? This looks right. Then when somebody comes here and let's look at it. Okay, now this is a problem. Okay, right? So now since you're using invocable apex here, what you can actually do, you can go to your invocable apex here, yeah, and instead of this, you can copy this code, yeah, and run it here, and let's save it, right? Okay. Now let me see here, and what I'll do, I will go here, go to the error logger. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to do. So we have isolated that there is no issue with the publisher code. So that's great. Now, the one thing when I looked at the flow, right, you can change the flow. You can put, something like debug message, but it's not really a great way to do that if it's happening in the production. It's not really great. So if you have an invocable ape, obviously it's good to not to try in production, right? To begin with, if you have a sandbox like a UAT sandbox, uh, then you should try there. So let's say if it's happening in the sandbox as well, right? So what I'm trying to say, it's not a good practice to put the logging here, logging here, logging here like that. Create this. So if you have an invocable method, right? In this case, obviously, there are only three elements here. One is this, and one is this, right? So the main one is the run flow with parent, which is invocable. So the first troubleshooting steps to go and look at the code to see if you find something unusual. So that's something I figured that we are not actually logging to an error logger. So we fix that, and then let's try to run it, right? Programming is all about how we troubleshoot things, right? It's a problem solving. We are trying to solve a problem. So yeah, okay. So what I'll do, oh man, where is it? Okay, go to count, and I'll delete this one, and I go to new, and count, right? I want. I don't care about this one, so just do. And another thing I forgot to mention, right? It's you should have a unit test in place. That's mandatory. If you write a good unit test, most of the things you can figure in the unit test. But let's say for whatever reason the unit test is crap, right? And whoever written it then didn't pay much attention to unit test, and we're getting this edge case scenario. So for whatever reason, so yeah, just need to um, figure it out. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go to error logger, and if there's a logger, okay, there's no error logger, so that means um, for some reason it didn't run, it didn't fail. Okay, all right. So there's nothing wrong in the code, so that's getting executed, or maybe not. So what you can do, so you put the error logger there, which is great. So that's something you should do. So right, it's catching it. If something goes wrong, it will come and pick that up here, right? Which is fine. Now just look at the other code. Open this one, and then you say, "Oh, this is a problem." Yeah. So um, I mean, you might think this is a very simple troubleshooting, but sometimes simple troubleshooting step, you know, can save you a lot of time and customer money at the same time. I mean, to be honest, why should a customer pay for a developer mistake? They shouldn't. If a developer is making a mistake, I mean, I understand that everyone makes a mistake, which is okay. Sometimes certain mistakes you can't avoid. for whatever reason. Maybe you don't have enough test data. Maybe you don't have um, how do I say? Maybe the things can go wrong during deployment process if you're using CI/CD. Um, there are a lot of things which could be out of control, of, not because of developer mistake, but maybe because of other things that's happening in parallel. Maybe you have integration team working, and they might have did something with their API, and things can go wrong. So it's not always a mistake of developer. There could be an external factors that influence this bug, right? So I'm just saying that as a developer, right, you try to do the best what you can, right? Try to do proper error handling, log wherever you're supposed to log, so that as a customer, right, if I'm a customer, I should not be asking developer, hey, have you implemented a logging mechanism, right? If the developer said no, that's not really a good look, right? Then I would ask, isn't it suppose your job to implement that as a developer? Isn't it obvious that there should be error handling stuff in place? So yeah, but whatever obvious is not always obvious to people. Um, so yeah, this is one thing. Now let's see if it works, right? Okay, yeah, okay, on hold. Right. Okay, now let's see. Go to the account logger. It should be there. All right, it should be there. Yeah, it should be there. Like I said, it's there. So that's the way you can troubleshoot, right? I hope you understand that how important error logging is when it comes to any sort of development. And that's one of the reason why whenever a functional consultant write flows, I tell them, have you consider error logging in your flows? Doesn't matter you're writing a screen flow or a record trigger flow or a platform end flow, right? Because the place where I work, we do the code review. Functional consultant work comes to the tech, like architect, like I'm an architect, but I do coding a lot. I mean, that's one of the thing I enjoy it. So, I get to review functional consultant flow because we don't let them write code unless they're really good, right? I'm not saying functional consultants don't write code. I've worked with few, they write exceptionally good code. And so, yeah, that is great, but that ratio is very tiny, right? It's like 1 to maybe 1 to 50, the ratio. At least in New Zealand, I haven't. I mean, functional consultants think they can write code, but when you see the quality of code, you think I might have rewrite everything, right? I don't mean an offense, but I don't consider code written with no pattern as a good code because it's prone to error. It prone to maintenance nightmare in the future. If you wanted to expand functionality, you might end up in breaking something else. So, a structured code with proper design pattern is very important if you are working on an object-oriented language. If you're working on a function language like Haskell or F sharp, even then I believe there should be a certain pattern that should be followed according to that language specification. Otherwise, you're doing a disservice to the code community, and that's I remember that when I used to work in one of the companies, right? My boss used to say, "No, we're not gonna let the functional guys write code. The hands off from there." He always makes sure the functional guys go nowhere close to code unless they can demonstrate, right? They can do the job. But we tried, using few functional consultants, and the way they write code. I remember, and my ex-boss used to say, "Nah, mate, it's just a waste of time. If you have to baby, the spoon feed or just like teach them baby step. Not really, right? I mean, that's not what we're here for. We're here to make money to the company, add value to the customer, right? If you start adding, I mean, if you hire someone as a junior developer, I understand that it's a responsibility of a senior developer to train them. But when you hire a functional consultant, right, their job is to do business analysis and other stuff. I respect them for that. They're pretty good in that stuff, right? But if they started fiddling with the code without understanding, then I have an issue with it because I do not appreciate that such things. It's going to cost the developer time, it's going to add bugs to the system, and it causes customer dissatisfaction, right? So, yeah. And also, it's okay to, let people know that programming is not everyone's field of expertise, right? Not everyone can be a programmer. And it's like not everyone can be a plumber, not everyone can be a builder, not everyone can be an aerospace engineer or a medical doctor, right? It depends on your interest and area of expertise, right? I sometimes find it very difficult to convince people, and I just wonder why it's so hard for people to understand the very, very, you know, simple concept. And then they'll say, "Oh, you're gonna rant." It's not about ranting. It's just unfortunately we live in a society where people don't like to hear the truth, and yeah, too many political correctness rubbishness going on. Yeah, that's I tell things in the face, right? In New Zealand, people are pretty straightforward. If they don't like it, they tell you in the face, right? This is what it is because beating around the bush, right? That just wastes time. And I personally don't appreciate, if you ask a simple question instead of giving a direct answer, if they beat around the bush, I just tell them cut the crap, come to the point. In some culture, it might be offensive, but not here. So, but at the same time, you gotta be respectful, right? I mean, you can't use a swear word. I'm just saying, it's okay to tell somebody to tell, to come to the point, right? Because it's wasting everyone's time. So, so the reason why I'm telling all of this, right? Because I've seen so many code, no air condition, a lot of crappy issues, and then the people don't improve on it, and they keep on repeating the same mistake. 8 years experience, 10 years experience, I've seen it. And when it comes to layoff, who do you think? You're gonna pull the kill switch. People are not doing well, so that's the way it is, right? So yep, that's pretty much I wanted to cover. So just remember, anything you implement, right? Always implement from a like a test-driven approach. See what the user thinks. What if S hit the fan, right? In this case, if it's a production system, I mean, neither the developer knows what's going on, neither the customer knows what's going on, right? It's not really good whatsoever. So that's the reason why I showed you how to implement error condition, right? So, yeah. That being said, you guys have an amazing Saturday. Adios.